Hi everyone, welcome to this video, and today I'm talking about expenses in France. And first of all, I would like to thank you for watching this series, and I hope this series Study in France is helpful for you. In this video specifically, I will be talking about my expenses in France. That will give you a reference point of how much expenses you will be having during your stay in France. So last year in September, I reached France and I stayed in France till mid of January. So for these 4 to 5 months, I will be sharing my expenses with you. And with that, you will get a reference that how much money you should keep with yourself or what should be the target expenses you should have for each category of things. So I have made a sheet for myself, but I have made it simple for you because some things won't make sense for you, but I have journalized some of the things, and in the end I will also share the target expense for each category as well. So I have categorized them into two. First one is fixed and the other ones are variable. The fixed ones are somehow almost the same for you, which might be a little different because of your location, your city, but generally more or less it will be same for you. So let's start. The first one is the rent, the biggest expense. So in September, I paid around 655 euros because you have to pay 1 month in advance for cruise. I was in cruise and my rent was 327.7, which in earlier videos I said 330 as a round off figure, but it's exactly 327.7. For 2 months, the first month I had to pay 655. Moreover, for October, November, and December, I had to pay as it is 327.7. My contract was ending on 31st of December. So I did a mistake here, and if you are going to France, I would recommend you should also book for January as well, because most of the time your semester is still active in January and you don't know where to go, so it's better you pay for January as well. And it's easy for, I'm talking about Erasmus students. If you're a permanent student in France, then obviously you have to pay till the next year and so on. Your contract needs to be continuing for the next year as well. But I'm talking in terms of one semester student like Erasmus. It's better you also do January, because most of the time your next semester is starting in February. So in January you are basically homeless, and it was extremely stressful for me. So I would recommend go for January as well. Moreover, the other expense is gym. I go to gym. Most probably you might also be going to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, you can cancel this expense. So in the first month, obviously you have to pay registration fees. So usually it's 35 for me, and then 20 I think 20 more for registration. I did a mistake here as well because I was not familiar with the things. In France they have Basic Fit. With Basic Fit you can go for their annual package, and it's much cheaper. You don't have to pay registration fee. But at that point someone misguided me from the staff of Basic Fit that no, you cannot do that. But later on some of my class fellows did the annual one, and later on they gave them a reason that they are international students and they cannot continue, and they discontinued their package, for the annual package for them. So I could have saved these 20 euros, and you can also do that by talking to the Basic Fit staff if you want to go to the gym. The next expense is haircut. I go for a haircut every month. If you don't go, you can put it once in 2 months. So usually in France the rate is between 20 to 25 across the whole country. It's like more or less same in entire Europe. Like even in Poland I used to pay 20. So haircut isn't cheap in Europe. So 20 to 25, that should be your monthly expense for haircut. Then data, I was using Free Mobile. Free Mobile is the cheapest one. It's the most friendlier for the students. I would recommend Free. Other companies are Orange. In France you call it Orange. It's the best company because of their coverage, but it's also expensive. So Free Mobile is just 13 euros. Obviously there was in this one as well there was a fee in the start, and I paid it with cash, so I couldn't track it down. But I mean, take 10 extra for that. Maybe the SIM cost was 10, so you can include that. Then for me, I use iCloud, which is like 3 euros per month, which gives me 200 GB. So you can use that if you are an iPhone user, or if you use Google Photos or something, you might have something similar, so keep something for that. Or if you use Netflix or any other streaming services, you can keep a budget for that on a monthly fixed cost. So more or less my monthly fixed cost were 400 euros. One thing I need to tell you guys at this point is I am an Erasmus scholar, and all Erasmus Mundus scholarship students for masters receive 1400 euros per month. So for me, the expenses might be a bit on higher side because I had a big purse every month getting from the European Union. But if you are going on your own expenses, you can be more conservative in your expenditure and you can be more careful. And it was my first time, so I did some mistakes as well in going for some expenses which I shouldn't have, and I later on was like, I could have saved a lot of money. So moving on, shopping. So this shopping doesn't include the clothing. I did some extra shopping as well, which I will be talking about in the later in the spreadsheet. I have a separate column for that. But this shopping is mostly stuff which I bought it for my room. Like in the start, you need to buy pillows, bed sheets, and over the course of months, you need something more or less for your kitchen or something for your bedroom. Like there's so many things you go to the shop and you have to buy. So this shopping includes that. Then the next thing is food. So this food isn't grocery. This food is the one you go to restaurant, the one you hang out with your friends. You go eat ice cream, you drink coffee. In the university, you have food. So all of these food expenses is compiled in this one. This can be much lower for you because I go out a lot, and maybe you are not the same kind of person. You might prefer eating at the cafeteria all the time or cooking yourself, then your expense may be much lesser. Going forward, local travel. So I have divided this into 3 further subcategories, and the total is in the darker gray shade. So in France, obviously, you need sometimes need to use Uber, Bolt for transport. Sometimes at night you are hanging out with your friends and the public transport isn't available, so you use the Bolt, and you obviously divide it with your friends, but again it's an expense. Then city metro is another one. So in Lille, for example, there was Olivia, and if you are younger than 26 years or 26 years old, you will be getting 50% off in Lille, and I think it's the same in rest of France. It depends city to city because different companies are operating in different cities. So in France, for example, I was paying around 30 for the public transport, which includes the metro, the buses, the tram, everything was included, and it was unlimited. So it's the best option. I think you should get it in France. Uber and Bolt is much more expensive, and if you are over 26, then it's double, like close to 60, 55 euros or something. Moreover, obviously, if you are traveling to Paris or some other cities, then you need intercity bus or train. For example, if you are going some nearby city, you need something. And then for groceries, so my expenditure was a bit high in the start, like it was over 100, 150 for first 3 months. Groceries include everything from buying oil, vegetables, fruits, chicken, everything. So that includes that. And also in the start, I could have saved a lot, but sometimes I want to buy a lot of things, and in the end I couldn't use all of them, and sometimes the vegetables and fruits get bad. So I would recommend don't buy in large portion, go for lesser amount of things, and slowly you will understand the best way for you. Also, one more advice I would say is check out the student markets. For there are NGOs which give food drives, so you can get a lot of things. In the start I wasn't aware of that, so you can go there and save a lot of money. Also, there are different markets in France which have like Sunday markets where you can go and buy fresh and cheaper vegetables and fruits, so you can try those. Moreover, miscellaneous expenses are those which are random. I cannot categorize them into anything. It's just random expenses. You just buy some things while going with friends. So this can be 0 for you, this can be 100 for you. It really depends. These are just spontaneous expenses. Moreover, for laundry, so in cruise there's a laundry machine and you have to pay for every wash and dry. So this was varying month to month, so there's no fixed cost for that. So in the first month, I had some cash and I bought a lot of things on cash. So maybe the first column might be a little less than the rest of the months because I used cash for doing a lot of things. I used cash for buying food, grocery. So even if you look at the grocery numbers, they are much lesser than October and November. Similarly, if you look at the food expense, it's much less than the following months. And so that's the reason in the start I was using cash. You can ignore this row, and as I will explain that later. So there are some extra expenses which I separated it from the initial ones because the upper one is kind of essentials and this is like extra expenses. So in extra expenses is mostly traveling. As you know, as you have seen from my Instagram, my YouTube, I travel a lot. So in October, November, December, I was traveling a lot. I was going to Brussels, I was going to different cities of Belgium, in different parts of France. So obviously when you go somewhere, you have to buy tickets, you have to go there for accommodation and you buy stuff there. So obviously that can get expensive, but if you are low in cash, you can skip these trips and you can save a lot of money. And then I separated this clothing part from the shopping above because these are the things which I just bought for myself, some clothes, some things for myself like shoes and everything. So this expense is also a bit high, and this makes overall much higher for me. Like on average it's all around 1800 per month, but if you save and you are cautious, you can stay under 1400. Okay, and going to the recommendations. So for average, I have made a recommendation for you. So starting with the fixed total, I think 400 is the cost which should be fixed, and you should have at least 400 for covering those fixed costs. For your own shopping, I think 100 should be more than enough. These numbers are already conservative from my expenses because I was not very careful, but if you are careful, you can easily stay under 100. For food outings, I think 200 should be enough as well. You can keep a track of your expenses, and you can also maintain an Excel sheet like me, and you can note down all your expenses and keep a track. Like every week on Sunday, you can just note down all your expenses. So food outings should be 200. Then local travel. So I have included everything like 330 for your public transport, like 30 to 35 for Uber and Bolt. So you can even minimize it and skip Uber and Bolt and instead walk or cycle, or you can save money on that. But this is like for an average student. So this is my like assessment that 75 would be spent at the end of the month. Then for groceries, I think 120 should be good number for your groceries. Then for miscellaneous, I don't know, sometimes you just buy some things, so it's 50 for that. For laundry, I would say keep 10. For ATM cash, like sometimes you have to withdraw money from your bank. By the way, I have also made a video about bank account, how to make a bank account in France, so you can watch that. So you can take out cash as well from your, sometimes in some places just it's cash, so you can do that as well. So on average, I think 1000 euros per month is, to be exact, 981 euros is the amount you need per month to survive in France. It can be much lower, it can be much higher depending on your habits, your standard of living, your preferences. So this was a basic guide for you, and I hope it will be helpful for you, and make sure you use your money wisely. And if you are on scholarship 1400, then you can be a bit more relaxed, or you can focus on saving money. But if you're going on your own expenses, then I would say keep 1000 per month, which is around 12,000 euros per year. In the starting month, keep more, because as I said, you have to pay rent in advance for 2 months, like one deposit and one rent for the first month. The deposit you will get back in the end, but I would say keep the money at least more in the start. Like if you are coming to France, I would say you should at least have 2500 euros for the first month and around 4000 euros for the first 3 months. That's really important, and with that you can survive for 3 months if you want to keep 4000. But it's better to take with yourself, because later on sending money from your home country can be a bit tricky, and it can cost you some bank charges. So you can take some money in cash in the start and then make a bank account and deposit all your money and use the card. So that's safer and better option. So that's the advice from me. And if you like this video, or if you have more questions or more queries about my food expenses or my journal expenses, you can always comment below and I will try my best to answer your questions. So that's all from this video. See you soon in another video. Goodbye.